What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar episode. I'm like, which hand? Yep, I go this way. 35. It's mirrored.
No.
I was like, wait, does I go this way? Yeah, anyways, 35. Welcome. We're super excited to be here. If you're watching it live, join us over in the live chat. And if you're watching it later, no worries, comment down below. We have a special guest, which we'll get to in just a moment. But for those of you new and returning, we, your regular hosts, are excited to have you here. I'm going to put this. There we go. I'm Carrie Lane, and then on that side, hopping over.
I'm Katie Cullen. Hi, all my buddies.
And Katie, why don't you introduce our special guest?
We have with us tonight the wonderful, the incredible, the extremely good-looking Blythe Kala.
And then
if you think I'm not going to hype up my friends, come on.
No, the extremely
Welcome.
good looking is this little pupper here.
Oh, baby.
The pupper is adorable. The pupper is very
He's
cute.
like, why did you wake me up for this?
Your cuddle face.
Because camera.
Because camera. And now he's going to go right back. Nope, he left.
He's like, I don't want to be on camera. I didn't ask for this.
Normally, he loves being the center of attention. So I thought, like, every meeting where other people are showing off their pets, he's just like, nope, I'm not going to be there. Like, I don't want to be there because I'm not the only one. The second he's the only pet, it's like, I don't know how he knows. But then he's in my face and won't leave me alone.
He's got a second camera of his own, watching yours.
He's like, are they
Dog
showing
cam.
off? Are their cats? Are their dogs? No? Okay, I'm on. I'm in.
And now it's my turn. I'm ready for my close-up.
We do have Giga Derek in the chat saying, hello, everybody.
Hi. Welcome back.
Now, Blythe, since this is primarily, but we cover other topics, big thing on anime here. What are your top 5 favorite anime shows? No particular order. Go.
Let me think about that. Oh my god. I have seen so much anime.
I know, right?
Or at least your favorite right now, because it can change. There can be those core ones we love forever, but you know what? In this moment, maybe something else calls to you.
I mean, Sailor Moon always. Like, cannot go wrong with Sailor Moon. We'll watch it every time it gets, like, redubbed. I watch Crystal. Like, I will just always watch Sailor Moon. So, classic, always. I've seen, like, the new dub, which is so much better than the old dub, but I will still watch the old dub.
There's a charm to the
nostalgia,
old dub.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
But I prefer that they're allowed to be gay now.
Yeah.
You know, there are perks to the new one. So I do like that. I really love Madoka Magica.
Yes.
Fantastic show. Oh my god, this is so hard. It's so hard to pick, like,
just give us a few you like then. We've got 2.
Yeah. I mean, are we counting movies? Because, like, always
too. I was gonna add that could be a category.
I'm like never not gonna recommend Princess Mononoke to people. I'm always gonna be like, you must see Princess Mononoke.
Yes.
If you don't, you aren't living life.
That was my first Miyazaki, and I was not ready for it.
It was my first Miyazaki, and it is my favorite.
How old were you when you first watched it? I'm curious now.
That movie came out like 97, so when I saw it, I was probably about 5 or 6.
Wow. Oh, dang.
I watched it whenever it got released onto DVD, and it was the dub with Billy Crudup and Claire Danes, and then Gillian Anderson is also in it, and Billy Bob Thornton. It's a really good cast.
It's a very good dub, and I think Neil Gaiman worked on localizing that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's a wild one.
I also always recommend Grave of the Fireflies, but you have to be ready to cry.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Very heartbreaking.
4.
Paranoia Agent. I love me some Satoshi Kon.
Yes.
I like very dark things. Like, Sailor Moon is the lightest thing that's been on this list.
And then the rest is just like
variety in there too. Yeah.
And the rest is just like buckle up, yo.
I know, it started with like, here's like a classic fun kids one, and the rest is like, get ready to feel things.
Did you need those emotions? You're gonna use them. It's just that is 5.
Yeah, you got the 5, so I like it.
I've got also a new one that I think people should see was Belle. Belle was great.
Yes, we have sung the praises of Belle on this many a time. So 100%, it's stunning film. Yeah.
So it was so good. I wasn't expecting it. I thought, like, as it was going, I was like, oh, it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and kind of thought it was going to go one way, and then it zags. And, like, it just completely goes a different way that I wasn't expecting. And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's rather refreshing. Yeah. We have Katie. Were you ready to jump to your segment of stuff?
Well, before that, Blythe, you were posting pictures from a couple of short films you worked on. Tell us a little bit about that.
So back in 2020, actually, the joke of these short films is we all say, we assure you the most fantastical thing about these short films was not supposed to be the fact that people are in a crowded place not wearing masks. But we shot it in 2020 in February, right before everything shut down. I was hired on as a behind-the-scenes photographer and videographer, and also acted in both of them.
Nice.
Very cool.
And it was just a week straight of us working on these short films. They were night shoots, so we were up till ungodly hours, but it was so worth it. One of them is called Flat Earther. It's I can't give away too much about it because it's honestly one that you have to witness, you have to see it to like get where it's going, and it's really really good. I will say this, it is all one shot. The entire thing was done with a Steadicam in one take, and it's really cool.
Oh man.
And that one is about these two characters who like are going on a date and trying to find, connection in a world of like technology and over-connectivity and things like that. It's really good. And if you're in LA, you can see that on July 27th at the LA Shorts Fest. It's Program 36 in Cabaseo, which is the second film you can see in Program 37 same day. And if you're in Iowa, you can see it on July 23rd. So these are in a couple places right now, running a couple short film festivals. I have been dying to talk about this. Like, the director, Brian, has like told me I can't talk about it. I can't post pictures. He was like, you have to wait till it's doing the festival circuit. You have to wait till we have something to promote. I've been like so proud of the photos I took and the stills I took.
Yeah.
That like, I'm like, I want to share them.
And now you are on your Insta, and they're beautiful.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, the photos are up on my socials. If you want to watch the behind the scenes featurettes, which I had a hand in shooting, because Brian he loves like the Lord of the Rings featurettes, so he's an editor, so he's been editing these together and making these, and you can see that on his YouTube, which I now am like, heck, I forgot to pull up what his YouTube is. He has a website too, which is filmcrew.com. So if you just go to filmcrew.com, and it's crew with an E at the end, and then you can see all the stuff there about all of this. He shares all of the things there. And the poster for Cabaseo, which is a short dance film, I am the photographer for as well. It's basically, that one's really fun because it's an entire, it's like, when you go to a club and you like see someone and you're like, ooh, like you're kind of cute. And it's like that fantasy moment of like, what could this be? And so it turns into this beautiful dance.
Oh, right.
It's great. It's wonderful. And there's a fun little tidbit of that because it's slightly inspired by Nightmare Before Christmas.
Really?
Yes, but you don't know that when you're watching it. That's just something that, because I don't want to spoil. Well, I don't want to spoil it.
That's the thing with short films. You only have so much, story there. So anything gives so much away. Yeah.
The idea came from Brian watching Nightmare Before Christmas and having thoughts about the Sally Jack relationship.
Okay.
And so this is these are his thoughts on that relationship.
Interesting.
It's good. It's very good. And those are where all my cool photos have been coming from. I need to share some of Flat Earther, but the dance photos are so cool.
Dance photos are so good, though. They're just so dynamic.
I know. Like, I mean, trust me, I took so many. They were me, like, I was like sitting because the camera guy was on like a dolly track, and I was basically sitting everywhere I would not be. Like, I was like under the camera, not in the way of the camera, trying to get these angles. And sometimes I would sit in one spot just to get a specific shot. So I would just sit there, action bursting until I could get that like perfect spin or that perfect moment.
Nice.
And it was, as I was going through the photos, I was like, oh God, what? This was not looking out for future me.
Why do I have 40 gigs of photos to edit? What did I do?
Now, what is it about film photography that calls to you?
You know, it's kind of funny because I never thought about doing it. I had just been laid off from a company that was like going under and not doing super well. I needed a job, and my friend was making these short films, and my friend was producing them. And my friend's like, can you do photography? Can you be a behind the scenes photographer for us? And I was like, sure. Can you, like, he supplied the camera because like, literally, this is never something I thought about doing. And I was like, I'm only like an amateur photographer. I haven't done like photography classes in years. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. I trust you. I'm like, okay. Like, sure. And then they happened to also need to fill a couple roles because they needed a bachelorette for Kabaseo, and they needed someone to be a voiceover for Flat Earther. And I love acting. It's, it's a side passion, a side hustle that I do. It's not anything I do full time. I did get SAG credit though for these, which is really fun.
Nice.
Nice.
So it just kind of turned into like, yeah, sure, I'll help a buddy out. And then I kind of really liked doing it because I was everywhere and nowhere. I was on every part of that set. And sometimes there were times where like people did not even, they would be like surprised. They're like, where did you come from?
Have you been there this whole time?
Yeah.
What did you roll on your stealth check?
Like I was literally just like on a ladder for a while, taking above pictures of everything. And people eventually were like, when did you go up there? It was kind of like really exciting. And then, it also allowed me to see where, people needed help. Sometimes the PAs needed help cleaning things. And I was like, well, I've taken a lot of pictures. I can help you out. So I would do that. Or like the production design team needed help putting stuff up. So I would do that while also stopping and taking pictures and video of the setup and such. But like, yeah, I would just kind of like be everywhere and nowhere and help out wherever I could. And then when I was acting, my friend Matt would take over the pictures for a bit. So there's a couple very fun photos of me getting like in the costume and being directed that are very, very cool. And I'll probably share those at some point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one prompt to be the behind the camera person is who takes your pictures. So that's great that you got pictures of yourself as well.
It was nice because, like acting was something, it was like my first love. It was the thing I meant to do when I got out here and came into film, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't profitable. And I got really, pretty successful behind the scenes, and I was making money that way. So I started doing that. So it was really nice to get to act again for like, just a few hours.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
It's good to be able to slip back into that old passion.
Yeah. I pointed it out, but go find more information. We'll be saying them at the end, but yes, go online there to see those said pictures and update on where and people can see those films.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
Go to my socials and see the things, and I've got to post the website and stuff too. But yeah, they're really great films. They're really great ideas that Brian had, and they're, we shot both of them. They're lower budget. I mean, still for the Steadicam and stuff, that takes a lot of money, but like
not a Hollywood feature.
Yeah, not a Hollywood feature. And for what we did with the limited resources we had, the production value is incredible. Like the pictures I was posting are of the actual lights and things that were being used.
Oh, dang.
And I just happened to take advantage of the fact that I had this beautiful filmic lighting to take amazing photos. And also beautiful smoke. We were I have a picture of someone trying to wave away the smoke. He's like walking by with like one of those like light, like a bounce thing. And
Yeah.
just like,
Oh my
trying
god.
to clear it. But it looks gorgeous on camera.
Yeah.
Beautiful on film.
Will there be a place online where we can see the shorts after the film circuit? After the festival circuit?
I can't say for sure.
Okay.
I believe that will be Brian's plan because you can watch his other stuff. He has a short called like Un Liberación, which is really good as well.
Okay.
And once he can run it, I'm pretty sure he'll put it out there. He just right now can't.
Sure.
Fair.
So like if you're in Iowa or LA right now are the two places to see it. It is running other festivals eventually. So like they'll just keep populating across the US. They've played in a few places already.
Well, congratulations. That's super exciting to have films and festivals.
Yeah.
And in-person festivals too for a lot of people if they're able to attend. So yay.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's wild. Like I said, we did not think that having people in a dance club would be a fantasy.
Yeah. It's a wild one right now. It's been a wild one for 2 years.
I know. I've been waiting to share these photos for literally 2.5 years.
Dang.
Because pandemic put a lot of stuff behind. We had a plan to release them in 2020. Like, we had plans for them that just went, Pandemic Lovato, just gonna throw that all out of wreck.
I haven't heard that one before.
Me neither.
It's my favorite one. I use it too much.
I've used Panini and Pangolin. Pangolin is the one that throws people.
I like that one though.
Isn't it fun? It's a little critter. It's a creature. Little creature.
Cute. I'm
far more adorable than
life. So I'm not just using Pandemic Lovato all the time.
I really do love Pandemic Lovato though.
That one's a fun one.
That's really good.
It brings me so much joy.
You got to find joy where you can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for telling us about the films.
Yeah.
If you are, again, Iowa or LA, go check them out.
Yeah.
And then speaking of things that are really good, I think it's time for things we're excited about. Yeah.
There we go. Yay. I was going to say those things that bring you joy. Which I'd say a huge one would be Comic-Con stuff, but unless you had something else before I dive into that one.
I mean, we have my usual bullshit. It's a question of whether you want to do Comic-Con first or whether you want to see the boxing or the yelling.
We'll break it in between. Why don't we can do the unbox first, sandwich with Comic-Con, and then Overwatch.
Save the yelling for last so that Blythe can save themselves.
Yay.
Everyone isn't Overwatch League on right now? Yes, that is my dedication to you and this show, that League is on and I am here. We love you guys. All right. The July Sakura box is in.
Is pretty.
Yeah. And the first
match.
Yeah. Well, green, blue.
The lipstick. Yeah.
Oh, the lipstick is also green.
It's just lighting. It looks similar to your box.
Yeah. But this is the July Sakura box. The boxes are usually 2 different layers of gold. So having this beautiful bright blue one was a great thing to see on my doorstep this morning. And it did arrive just this morning. So the timing is amazing. The theme we have this month is Yokohama. So it is tea time in Yokohama. And as always, it comes with a beautiful piece of art with a little note from the founder on the back. They have one of these in every box. They're cute. They are surprisingly personal notes from the founder about her travels and the things that she's seen and what the boxes are based on. So I haven't drawn a lot of attention to these in previous boxes, but this is a very fun part of it. On to the goodies. Let's see.
Yeah,
here. How does the camera work? We'll find out. Of course, we have our wonderful booklet that tells us everything that's in here. And also, again, I am super impressed with the little history lessons they give. There's about 2 pages on Yokohama and the things that you can find locally and history and traditions. There's always a lot to learn in here. And also, it always gives allergen information for everything. And for the little dishes that they give you every time, whether it's chopsticks or a glass or a little plate, it always tells you whether it's dishwasher safe, which I really appreciate. Oh my God, yes. I keep these booklets every time. So I go back and go, is this nice little soup bowl that I got dishwasher safe? And the answer is yes. Hey. We have peanut pastries.
Ooh.
We have, God, I love these giant pastries. It's this giant sweet red bean filled pastry. I love it when giant pastries show up in my boxes. They always bring me joy. As you can see, we have all sorts of, we have savory, we have sweet. This is layered chocolate bread here. These are little yogurt covered almonds. There's, we have pear jelly. I love the jelly in these boxes. We have, I am going to drop stuff all over myself. Angles are great, folks. But I love that we have a nice big pear jelly this time. I like to throw these in the fridge and come back to them next day because it's been 90 some odd degrees out in Los Angeles. And the jellies hit so nicely when you come back in from the heat and then just attack these with a spoon. They are always amazing. And in the hot weather, this is my favorite part of the box.
For a second, when I thought you said jelly, I was thinking like what you would put on a sandwich or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is it like jam or a spread?
No, it's a full on.
It's like a scoop.
Eat it.
Okay.
Yeah, you eat it on its own. It's jello.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Jello?
Kind of, but it's more.
It's like it's a Capri Sun-ish thing.
It has actual. Oh, I squeeze it out in a bowl and then go at it with a spoon.
Yeah. But
it has like actual nutritional value in it, though. And for some of them, I got a mandarin one in a previous box that had a little slice of mandarin orange in it. Ooh, oh my God,
sounds delicious.
Oh, they're so good. I've said this before, and I'm going to start packing this up again. There's all sorts of fun stuff in here, and I already spoiled myself and looked at what my little dish is, and it's a little Sakura pattern side plate, like this big. You can kind of see it hiding in the box back. You can't see it. No, it's hiding in its own individual little box to protect it. But I love Sakura Co boxes. I like snack boxes in general, but I love Sakura Co boxes because it's not just candy. I love candy, but I get a box that's 90% candy, I'm not going to get through all of it. I love that I get the mix of the savory and the sweet. I love that there is tea in here. I didn't get far enough down to find it, but there is always tea in a Sakura Co box because, again, at the top, it always says, nice to meet you, let's have tea. So it's always tea themed, and all of the snacks will go with the tea that's in the box. And the tea is always themed after whatever the location is based on, or the season, or the box theme. I love the mix that we get. I love that it's snacks. I've occasionally rolled out these pastries and had them for breakfast. Like, Sakura Co boxes are just a rich little experience, and I thoroughly enjoy them. And I am very much looking forward to just dismantling this one once we're off camera and putting the jelly in the fridge so I can have it tomorrow after my afternoon walk in 90-degree weather. Like, that is the treat. Coming back in from the heat and having that nice, cool pear jelly. And there's also a grape jelly in this one. I got 2 jellies because it's summer. I'm very happy. So thank you, Sakura Co. I am excited.
Yes, those always look gorgeous too, and
oh my God, yes.
We always like unboxing stuff here. Because it's always fun to see what they send, how they package it, and then it is a bit like, ooh, don't drop anything.
Yeah, I have reused these boxes as shipping boxes before because they're nice, sturdy little things. Like, and again, this is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
This is so
that one's
good.
pretty. That shade of blue is so pretty.
Oh yeah, this one in particular is very nice. Yeah. So yes, I am very pleased with this month's box.
Yay.
I got through all the product stuff just fine, and then I hit the end, and yikes.
That's okay.
Big Monday energy. We continue.
Yay! That's the other thing.
Yes.
We have fun Monday energy on this show all the time. Yeah, so the other exciting thing to be excited about, we have Comic-Con this week. It is like T-minus 1 day pretty much because it's Wednesday's preview night, so almost time.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting it's like a 5-day con.
Yes, it's Wednesday through Sunday, and then I'm going down Wednesday. Super excited. So yours truly will be there, so stay tuned for coverage of Fanversation. Will be at Comic-Con. I'll be covering some anime stuff. So speaking of that, program schedule-wise, Crunchyroll Industry Panel will be on Thursday, July 21st from 1:45 to 2:45, and that's in room 6A. Again, Thursday at 1:45, 6A. That's the Crunchyroll Industry Panel. So in case you weren't able to attend Anime Expo and you'll be at Comic-Con, that's where you should go. And then as well, I was grabbing the other to make sure I have the right time.
Also, if you can attend one, I say Comic-Con. Like, Comic-Con is always more worth it, in my opinion.
Comic-Con is, you have to be prepared for and okay with big crowds. I thrive in the dealer's hall at Comic-Con. I love it, but I also love people and am perfectly fine dealing with crowds. If you cannot handle crowds, Comic-Con might not be your scene.
Then I
It's,
say WonderCon. That's always
WonderCon would be the
WonderCon's
good
just
one
as
for
bad.
that. Yes.
But I just mean if you have to pick and you're like between Anime Expo and
Why can't we have
Comic-Con,
both?
Porque no los dos?
budgets. People are broke.
And that is why I'm only going to AX this year.
Yeah,
There's a
that's fair.
myriad of reasons,
But
but
I would say
AX
there are
is-
other ways around that too. If you can be a volunteer, that's a great way to go to a convention. I
Yes,
was a
it
volunteer at Comic-Con for multiple years, loved it.
Yeah.
And that was a great way to have incredible experiences. So
Yeah.
don't be deterred. I was like, wait, where did it go? Do not be deterred by prices of attending a convention because there are ways to do it. You can plan out your budgeting. And then again,
Yeah.
volunteer is a great way to get in the door.
Also,
use
I
it.
just know, like, from my experience at Comic-Con, if you, like, as someone who is an introvert and does like people, but sometimes needs to get away, I have found it easier at Comic-Con to escape than AX.
Fair.
There's a lot of random places you can kind of go. A lot of restaurants, a lot of kind of places you can disappear to if you need to get away.
Yeah.
I love Comic-Con because it's not all about dealers hall and convention. Like, it's not all about being in the convention center. There's a ton of beautiful outside stuff to do. A ton of hotels to go to, and most don't care if you just sit in their lobby and need a quiet moment. Like, no one's gonna throw you out. Just go hang out, go get quiet. Like, the Hilton Bayfront always has kind of side areas where people are not really chilling, so you can kind of just disappear to those if you need to get away. So my experience with Comic-Con as an introvert, WonderCon is the smaller, if you really can't do crowds, WonderCon is perfect. But Comic-Con has a lot of nice ways to cool down, get away, recollect yourself, and then go back to having fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Comic-Con is just they're different. And
It's a very different beast.
Yes. But I agree that that's one of the charms of the Comic-Con experience is the downtown area to explore that as well. And that's something, unfortunately, that downtown LA just doesn't quite have. It's not the same thing. That doesn't necessarily be a better or worse. They're just different.
I don't think they could because of the placement of LA's convention center versus San Diego's.
Yeah.
San Diego's convention center opens right up into what's known as the Gaslamp District.
Yeah.
And it's all sorts of, it's kind of like an old town. If the city that you live in has an old town in terms of it's not necessarily smaller buildings, but a little more local, not really,
Unique,
you're not going to find
older.
you're not going to find a strip mall there.
No.
But you're going to find a bunch of small buildings. It's where the pubs are. It's where the fun little restaurants and the little side shops and the boutique-y things. And that's where you're going to find a lot of personality. And the convention center basically opens right up into it.
Yeah.
So,
but I will say LA at least has Little Tokyo not too far away. So,
but it doesn't open up right into Little Tokyo. You still got to drive.
But it still can happen.
If you're gonna be down there, you can probably find a train line to get to Little Tokyo. Like you can do it. But the joy of Comic-Con is that like convention center just opens up and it's right across the street to the Gaslamp district. Like you are right there.
And San Diego's San Diego's public transportation, that tram line is so good. You don't have to stay. It's convenient to stay right next to the convention. But if you want to stay at the Motel 6, like 3 miles away, and then buy like a $15 tram pass that'll get you all weekend, done that before. The Motel 6 was a little sketch, let's be real, but it worked.
Yes,
and the tram was super easy, barely an inconvenience. Showed up all the time.
One nighttime though, they were doing construction, and that did suck. But like you had to wait a bit. That was one time.
Yeah. But also once it's night, the Uber Lyft like isn't terrible. Like once the crowds have died down, like getting out isn't too bad. Like I stayed in Temecula one time, like which is not close, but I just parked at like Angel Stadium or whatever the stadium is that leads the train, and just took the train down, and that worked out perfectly like every night.
Yeah, that's cool. There's different ways to do it for sure.
Free parking, and then jump on a train, and it takes you right in front of the convention center. Like, it's amazing how well set up San Diego is for that. And I love LA. I love my city. I love living here. We are not set up for it.
No, man. They killed the red car, and then Beverly Hills said you're not allowed to build a freeway through here, and suddenly everything was really bad. For people like the red car, the plot of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that happened in real life. That actually happened. Not the cartoon bits, but the murdering the public transportation bits. That occurred.
I don't know. Maybe they murdered some cartoons. Maybe there's something we don't know about. I don't know.
Yeah, they might have. Has anyone seen Oswald recently?
Has anyone
seen
some anime characters around recently?
I was going to say, speaking of anime, then the other exciting thing at Comic-Con, which we did mention this before, but reiterating in case people missed it, Dragon Ball Superhero is in Hall H. Which pause on that in a moment. But that's going to be on July 22nd at 4:30, and they're showing the first 20 minutes of the film. So you get to see it a month before everybody else. Now, let's just take a moment of how amazing it is that anime is essentially like its own entity in Hall H, which is like,
I mean, let's be real. If we're going to break into Hall H, it's going to be Dragon Ball, One Piece, or Naruto.
Yeah.
So basically a toss-up between which of the big franchises is gonna get, with the big staying power, is gonna get it. And
Dragon Ball makes the most sense to me there.
It does.
Like, Naruto is kind of, after it ended, is like it ended.
Boruto is going on though. The franchise itself is still going strong, and One Piece just passed 1,000 episodes.
Oh yeah, One Piece is.
I would say it shows no signs of stopping, but it did just announce that it was going into its final arc in the manga. So 10 more years.
You know how Goonies never say die? One Piece says never say die.
Yeah.
Like they're never gonna die. It's gonna keep.
So that panel is Friday, in case people aren't looking at a calendar. Because I was like, what day is 26th? Friday.
Yeah.
So wait, the other thing that I'm super excited about too, speaking of Dragon Ball, there's 2 other thingies via Crunchyroll news. There it is. Okay, there's going to be a Dragon Ball Z concert experience. Oh, so excited for that. That's going to be on Saturday the 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park. So that's like just northish of the convention center. There's a park right there. So it's going to combine the senses and sounds of Dragon Ball together with world-renowned orchestra, live vocals, and legendary composer to create a truly immersive multimedia and one-of-a-kind curated concert experience. So, yes, it's like,
I mentioned this last time we talked about this because this was announced. I believe we talked about it either last week or week before. If you have not watched Dragon Ball subbed, if you are not familiar with the music associated with this franchise, you are in for a hell of a treat. Dragon Ball music is really good, y'all. Really good. This is one of those like, what am I sad that I'm missing by not going to Comic-Con? And it's the dealer's hall. Let's be real. The fact that there is a D&D pub in the Gaslamp district, that is cool, happening. Yeah. There is a D&D takeover, and I'm like, I haven't seen something like that since D&D Live 2019. Guys. So, if you're going, hit that up and tell me what it's like. And if
Also,
they're giving
there's
away
a-
swag, I want it.
There's a
I have
limited
no
edition
shame.
Spider-Man print that I cannot afford right now, just because money. And it's all three. It's a holographic print between all three of the Spider-Mans. It's half their
Oh,
mask, and it switches between
dang.
Tom, Toby, and Andrew.
Oh,
And
that's
they're giving
amazing.
it out in Hall H at some point. So if you go get it, good luck. They're only giving out like 100, but it looks so amazing.
Oof. Like, if anyone gets an extra or doesn't want it for some reason.
They're selling it right now for like it's $80, which isn't bad if you're not broke.
That's fair.
That's fair.
It's a good price
for art. Yeah.
A lot of things aren't. Speaking of, it's reasonable if you're not broke. The Elhofer San Diego Comic-Con specific pieces, the Loki overalls that she's dropping, the one where I'm looking at it and going, man, if I had the funding, the Bruno long line, the Bruno Madrigal long line sweater.
Now I need to
Oh
look
my
up
God.
this.
Oh, it's good. And I'm not usually one for Elhofer Design likes to do the really big hoods, and I tend not to care for those. But on the Bruno sweater, that's perfect. She's doing a number of pieces, and honestly, I don't remember them all. I just remember the Loki short overalls because they look really great, and the Bruno sweater because relevant to my interests and super cute. But she has she has like 10 exclusive pieces dropping at con, only available at con. So like if you're there and you want some very cute, locally made, ethically sourced geek wear, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Loki romper is adorable.
Isn't it though? Isn't that cute?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, the prices can be a little wild if you're used to paying like $10 for a geeky t-shirt.
Fashion prices,
but this it's locally made and it lasts. For those of you who were like, where did you get that Nezuko top in all your AX pictures? Elhofer.
There's a dark
like a charm
jacket.
There is.
Yeah, no, she hand makes her stuff. Like it's handmade, it's quality, it's worth every like second of the price. It's good stuff.
Yeah, she doesn't hand make a lot of stuff anymore, but it is locally made.
Yeah.
So this is a local LA factory that she works with.
Also, I was going to say one last quick announcement, though, too. Crunchyroll concert series at Rady. I'm not sure. RADY? How would you say it?
I have no idea.
I know, right?
Whatever I pick will be wrong.
Yes. So that's going to be on Friday and Saturday. So we mentioned the Dragon Ball Z. So the other thing that I was like, I saw it and then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, you know that when you know two pieces of information, then they finally click. It was one of those things. So it is going to be on the Friday at 7 to 9:30. It's Crunchyroll Hime Dance Party with DJ Jun Inagawa. But the thing that I was like, oh my goodness, is it has Atarashi Gakko, and it's this girl group from Japan, and they are so funny. They do so, I mean, you know, a lot of girl groups can be on the really very beautiful and sexy side, which is great too. But I love that they're really quirky and goofy and then just make very fun and funny music videos. And I think they would probably be amazing live. So that's so cool that a group from Japan will be at Comic-Con, because otherwise, how do you see these people unless they do like a tour, which sometimes they do or don't, you know? So thank you, Crunchyroll. That's going to be awesome.
Like, honestly, Crunchyroll at all the cons they've been going to have just been putting on one hell of a party with everything they've been doing. So I am super impressed by this. And again, very sad that I won't be there to partake of the concerts, but y'all have fun.
Yes.
Let me know how it goes. And seriously, if you go to the D&D Tavern and there's swag, pick up extras. I want them. You know, just like, hey, hit these up for me.
Girl, we'll see.
You know.
But yeah, make sure to follow Fanversation on social media to be up to date on Comic-Con, all things exciting going on there. So the other exciting thing, though, that you're missing, Katie.
Actually, I had one more exciting thing before we go into Katie yells about Overwatch. It's not Comic-Con related. Netflix is doing a live-action adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah,
I saw the
other day.
poster. I was like, oh,
They've been rolling out the casting piecemeal. They didn't announce it all at once. It is, I think it's Netflix Japan that's doing it. So it
Okay,
looks like
nice.
it's Japanese production company, Japanese cast. So I think the GIF that I tweeted this out with was the Saved by the Bell. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Like, because there haven't been very many middling live action adaptations of anime. It's either hit or it's miss. So, again, all we have right now are casting announcements and the posters, which honestly look beautiful. So, not nearly enough to make a judgment call, but just putting it out there going, we are getting a Yu Yu Hakusho live action adaptation. Let's see how this shakes out. Let's see what we're doing.
I never know with anime live action adaptations. I just never know.
Yeah.
Well, the only ones
never really
I've
know.
seen more hit than miss are ones actually made in Japan, because
Yes.
those ones get the sensibility of being bonkers and over the top and embrace that, versus the American ones that are like, let's make it more realistic. And I'm like, yeah, I watch anime because I want realism.
I don't know, man.
No.
The Japanese,
But we'll
the Full Metal Alchemist and the Attack on Titan ones were
okay, well, that's why I said more hit than miss.
That's fair.
Just
That's fair.
It's not even like you can't ground it in realism. Like Cowboy Bebop actually does lend itself to being a little bit more grounded. It's an overall more grounded anime. It's just there's a stylization and a way like anime uses the animation as a medium to tell the story so well, and you do have to tweak that when you're adapting it, because live action animation are just inherently different storytelling mediums.
Yeah.
And anime has some specific, even just tropes that they use and storytelling beats that don't always translate well to live action.
Yeah.
So it's a wild balancing act. Not everyone is capable of it. I think my favorite What Happened example is our Netflix adaptation of Death Note, which would have been, it's a terrible Death Note adaptation. It would have been an amazing episode of Tales from the Crypt. Like, or Twilight Zone, or like, it would have been a great anthology horror thing without the expectations of a Death Note adaptation placed on it. There were the bones there for something really fun, but a Death Note adaptation wasn't it.
Which is
no, this is relevant. Excuse you, this is relevant.
Around the like remaking.
That was another one where I'm like, that lends itself to a grounded adaptation. And if they had actually just leaned harder into it being a noir,
the Japanese one did it well, though. Just saying. First and second.
The Death Note musical did it the best. Fight me.
The point I wanted to make, though, was that when it's made for American television, they tend to think they need to make it for American audiences, and then they change it, not realizing it already has a huge American audience here.
Yeah, and now we're staring down the barrel of our second Death Note adaptation made by Americans, but it's going to be the Stranger Things guys, and all we know is that it's gonna happen. So I think my one request for them is keep Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
y'all, he was amazing. Keep him. He was great.
Yeah, he was a perfect casting.
He was. He really, really was. Like they said that, and we were like,
I would like to see Elle be Japanese, and I would like to see them use a wider Asian cast and actually keep it in Japan.
Oh yeah,
personally.
I mean, I don't know if that's what will happen, because again, we are looking at an American adaptation, and the Stranger Things guys have shown that they are very much at home in like the 80s. So it will be very interesting. I don't know, and this is just me personally, I don't know if I would trust people who are very, very good at American culture to tackle a culture that isn't theirs. So if we're doing an American adaptation of Death Note, lean into it. Make it an American adaptation of Death Note. Just make it an American adaptation of Death Note. You know? There's a balancing act to be had here. The previous one that we got didn't hit that sweet spot, but I will maintain that what it gave us, again, had the bones of a great Tales from the Crypt episode. or a
No,
great
like,
Twilight Zone like movie.
I still think you should have like definitely still keep it people of color, keep like still
absolutely.
You know, we have a lot of people of color in America, but
Yeah.
You could comment on, you know, our police system and the way our like the law works and things. It could be fascinating to see if you could do a true like culturally American film that has like the similar bones of commentating on the justice system, and because that's what the old one does, and it does it super well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also just savior complexes.
I am curious. But I'm also like, oh, now what if you did do it as a period piece? Because technically now Death Note would be a period piece.
Yeah, I know. Like the 2000s. Where are you going to set it? The Old West.
Carrie's like, no.
I'd be into that.
No, that's the thing when they're like, you know, the 80s is like 50 years ago. And you're like, no, the 80s is only 20 years ago. What are you talking about?
What I want, and this is one of those weird buck wild things, but what I want, and I know I'm not going to get it. There is a line in Death Note. I think it was Ryuk talking about this, saying, this isn't the first time we've dropped a Death Note on Earth and seen what happens. You've just done the wildest shit we've ever seen. And that's the story that's being told to the audience. Give me the anthology series of the different places and times and cultures where they've dropped a Death Note in the middle of it to see what happens. Give it to different directors who grew up in and understand these cultures and can do this. Like, I kind of want like a Love, Death, and Robots, but Death Note.
Okay.
Just gimme. That's what I want. Because here's the thing. Here is a notebook that will murder whoever you put into it. Go is such a great premise that you can drop into anything and see what happens. I want that anthology series. I'm not going to get it because we can't get away from L and Light, but I want that anthology series. Gimme.
I mean, maybe if the live action does well, then they could do like an American Horror Story. Each season is a different story.
I don't even want seasons. I want like hour and a half long episodes.
Keep it a short story.
I like the season given the
but fair. I don't need everything to be just a buck wild cat and mouse crazy two geniuses playing tennis. Like, I don't need every telling to be that. Give me the mob war where both sides have a Death Note, but everyone's wearing masks so nobody knows what anyone looks like. Give me the Victorian socialite who kills every suitor who wrongs her. Give me all of the weird buck wild stuff. You could use any story, any trope, and then drop a Death Note into it and go nuts.
This is what I want. Like King Henry VIII just writing in there with all the beheadings.
Yes! Do that! Do that! That would be amazing! King Henry VIII had a Death Note. Go! Gimme!
Napoleon, he had one. Take it.
So I feel we could go on for this for quite some time.
We could.
We should probably move
the Death Note anthology series.
Move on to the other thing that you're going to talk a lot about, but we love to hear your enthusiasm on it.
Overwatch League is an anime. You guys, the Mid-Season Madness tournament is happening literally right now as we stream this. Like I said, it is a mark of how dedicated I am to this show, the stream, and you, the audience, that I'm here and not with a screen in front of my eyeballs going, who's playing? It also helps that the Houston Outlaws 3-0'd the Florida Mayhem before we went live, so I didn't have to worry about watching the results for that one. The current match, if it's not already over by this point, who knows, is the Shanghai Dragons versus the Toronto Defiant, which is the first East versus West match we've had this season. I want to talk for a minute about London, because London had the first match against Atlanta today, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close. London last season picked up their entire roster from a contenders team that I think they also run it, called British Hurricane. And British Hurricane was the almost undefeated contenders EU team. I think their one loss was in a show match to the undefeated contenders NA team, American Tornado. So, and for those of you contenders, what is contenders? It's Overwatch minor leagues. It's a lot of fun to watch. It started again. So y'all should watch Contenders EU and NA because they brought up two of my favorite casters. And watching Rich Rad and Kenobi go at it is a blast. The ridiculous food debates are my favorite part. So, watch Contenders, support your Tier 2 Overwatch. The Midseason Madness tournament is happening all this week, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific and going into however long into the evening, because the NA teams are physically in Hawaii, so the lag isn't too bad, playing against the APAC teams who, you know, you have to get up a little early if you're playing against an NA team because time zones are nuts. So they're doing their best to mitigate that. But yeah, if what we've seen from London just in this first match, completely hanging Atlanta out to dry, on the performance, of course, Hottie on the Reinhardt. We knew that Hottie was a Chad on the Reinhardt. We know he's nuts. That's part of the reason London's been doing so well. But we need to talk for a minute about Backbone, brought up from Contenders, playing not only on the Mei, playing what he's known for on the DPS role, but also learning to play Zenyatta, because Zenyatta is a fantastic character, one of my favorite, gets absolutely no lore. Thanks, Blizzard. You got 30 some odd characters. You can't give any lore to Zenyatta. Give me something. Give Zenyatta lore has been a thing, a joke for 4 years, 5 years. It's been a thing. So we've been waiting forever. But Zenyatta is a support who basically plays as a third DPS if you are skilled and bloodthirsty enough. So they took a DPS player, put him on support, said, you gotta heal people, but also do some murders. So watching him in this match snipe the opposing Zenyatta from across the map is beautiful, terrifying, an incredible feat. This is London's first tournament since, I want to say, they won the whole thing in season 1. Completely different meta, completely different game. They're playing in Overwatch 2 now, and completely different team. And they're shaping up to be incredibly good in this tournament. I want to see them go against APAC teams. Backbone said in the post-game interview that he wants Seoul to pick them, and Seoul won the previous tournament, as a reminder. So that'll be interesting, and I want to see how far they'll get. I don't think they'll take the whole thing. My bet is still on the Gladiators, but I think they'll get pretty far, just based on this absolutely buck-wild blowout performance against Atlanta that we saw tonight. Because Atlanta is not a pushover team, especially with Kai on the Sojourn. Like, they're not an easy team to just roll over. They are, God bless them, they're not the Vancouver Titans. So watching London just push them aside like they weren't even there in an extremely easy 3-0 was super weird, but also I'm super here for it. So London fans, you are getting fed this tournament. It is incredible to watch. As an Outlaws fan here wearing green, I'm very grateful for that 3-0, so I knew my result before I went on the air. Thanks, guys. And also playing really well against Florida, who is fairly middling team. They've been doing pretty well. So not the first time we've run up against Florida, but a pretty solid 3-0 for the first time in a while. Thank you for not going to a map 5, Outlaws. Thank you for this reprieve. Being an Outlaws fan is not suffering today. So my bracket is already busted because I didn't pick London, but you know what? That's okay. I'm here for the ride. And I will be interested to see how all of this shakes out, how our East versus West matches shake out, because there are people who've picked Shanghai to take this entire thing based on, I don't want to say pedigree alone. They were amazing last season. They're good this season. There are people who picked Philly to do this entire thing. Same idea. So it will be very interesting to see two very different regions, two similar metas, but very different play styles clashing in this tournament for the first time this season, for the first time on Overwatch 2. Like, watch this segment not next week, but 2 weeks from now, when I come back with the tournament results and go, Here's my conspiracy board. Let's talk.
I was going to say teasing of the Overwatch, though, too. In the description, we do have the playlist for Anime Expo interviews, and Katie talked to an Overwatch voice actor.
Carolina Ravassa, the voice of Sombra. We talked about her movie Morgan's Mask, so check that out. Yeah. The interview and also the movie.
That too.
Yes.
And
this concludes Katie Yells About Overwatch.
See,
no, it's
the second that he wasn't the center of attention, he was going to come and be the center of attention.
I was going to say my dog's sitting under my desk. She came over and I'm like, did you want? No, you don't want to? Okay, fine. You stay there.
The cat came in at one point, but I'm fairly certain she has abandoned me. That's fine. That's okay. She does that.
Hi.
Well, teasing for next week a little bit too, and stuff you should check out because we're not covering the anime just yet. So stay tuned for next week. We're doing a very special episode with a special guest. It will be pre-recorded, so it's not live, but watch it when it airs. And then if you can't watch it live, it's okay. Comment down below after the fact. But current things that you should check out of, what was I watching? I'm currently catching up with Umbrella Academy. Oh, this show just keeps getting weirder and weirder that I feel you can generally recommend the first season to kind of anybody. Be like, here, check out this really cool show. And then it just keeps going more bonkers that if you like it, stick around. Almost done with Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And, I saw Thor Love and Thunder. Yes. I did enjoy it. I thought it was very fun. There's some really interesting things and different things that I connected to personally. But overall, it's a very entertaining continuation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, yes.
All right.
Katie, what are some things that you, we'll go to our special guest because give Katie a moment. So Blythe, anything that you've been watching, reading, or whatnot that you think people should check out?
I also saw Thor Love and Thunder, and the way I would review it or describe it is that it is the Guardians 2 to Guardians 1 of Love and Thunder to Ragnarok, basically. Ragnarok's a tighter, more structured film, but Love and Thunder was still, really entertaining to watch.
Yes.
It's if you like Taika, you'll like this.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. It's not. It
had a lot more playful and goofiness and a lot of humor in it too.
Yeah, I would say Ragnarok still feels more like him than Love and Thunder does.
Fair.
In terms of the humor and stuff, but there's some stuff I saw it twice. I ended up seeing it again to get a free comic book at AMC.
Fair.
It was still a lot of fun. What else have I been watching lately? Because I feel like I have not been good at TV lately.
If it hasn't been watching, it could be reading or listening to. And if it hasn't been lately, it can be a perennial love that you just want everyone to see.
Yes.
Again, I recommend Discworld every time I can't think of something to say because Discworld is amazing and everyone needs to read it.
Well, because everyone who follows me or knows anything about me, I'm a big Andrew Garfield fan. So I started reading Under the Banner of Heaven and then watching that on Hulu. And if you are ready for some pretty serious dissections of Mormonism plus a love of the great Andrew Garfield, it's a very good read and very good show. I don't think that's what most people want to be watching right now. If you want something really, really wholesome, Better Nate Than Ever on Disney Plus.
Really?
It's so cute. I don't know. It's just a blast. It's a cute little movie about a cute little gay kid who wants to be a Broadway star.
Yes, that's okay, cool. I remember the ads.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers. I was wondering how that shook out.
Yeah.
It's just really wholesome. Lisa Kudrow is in it and she's great, and it's just I don't know. If you want something that's just gonna make you smile the entire time you're watching,
that's always nice to have. Mm-hmm.
It is that. I'm not, it's not gonna win any Oscars, but it's really, 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 really cute.
Honestly,
also, Love Victor season 3 is up on Hulu and Disney Plus.
What is?
Love Victor, which is a show that it's a spinoff of Love, Simon. And as a Hispanic queer human. I love it personally, which is another one that it's like, if you want some mix of cotton candy and like a little bit of emotions, like it's a good, don't have to, it's not Under the Banner of Heaven where you're watching literally a dissection of an entire religion.
Right.
It's just talking about being queer, and it dives into being a queer person of color and how that differs from being a queer white person. Like, it gets into a lot of really great stuff. It's a really delightful show.
Okay.
And that it's on season 3. It is a coming out story, which I know, like, the thing that Better Nate Than Ever has is there's no, like, him being gay is like an incidental part of the story. He just happens to be gay. The part that makes him like weird to people is that he loves musicals and he loves the girl parts of musicals, but that's about, otherwise, like, him being gay is treated as pretty normal. Love, Victor does go into the coming out, but I like that they tackle what it's like to be a part of a more conservative, traditional Hispanic family and trying to deal with that and deal with coming out and how that will affect your relationships to your family. So they tackle some really good stuff, and they tackle it in a very thoughtful way. So if you're not watching Love, Victor, I really recommend it.
All right.
Nice. And Katie, what
about
you?
Sounds really good. We have started watching Arcane in we call them the family movie nights.
Have you not watched that yet?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's amazing. And I'm like, cool, let's put a pin in that until we have the time.
Fair.
So we've called them family movie nights, essentially. They're streaming movie nights. So we've taken it 2 episodes at a clip so far. So I'm 2 whole episodes in. And if you spoil it for me, we will have words.
Speaking of another Victor that I love, but I recommend doing 3 at a time. It was arcs.
It was a timing thing. But with that in mind, I will propose that for next family movie night. But we're basically going to work through that till we're done instead of switching off. So I am 2 episodes in, and yeah, I can see why Riot was promoting the hell out of this. Wow. Love it. I finally watched the last 2 episodes of Ya Boy Kongming. I once again reiterate that everyone should watch Ya Boy Kongming. Speaking of something where if you just want to sit there and feel good, and occasionally have a really good joke, but mostly love this ridiculously weird found family of people in the music industry, like, y'all gotta watch Ya Boy Kongming. I love it. I love it. I love it. I just was like, who's your favorite character? All of them. Yes. My favorite character is yes. Just all of them. But yeah, no, again, highly recommend Ya Boy Kongming. It's on High Dive. The first season is 12 episodes. It's looking like we're gonna get another season, I hope, maybe? And Spotify needs to hurry up and put that soundtrack up, like, right now. My God, the music in that show is amazing. So if you haven't seen Ya Boy Kongming, you need to. So I've been trying to find another anime to somewhat fill that void. And thankfully, Mother's Basement put out his ones to watch for summer. So I sat down, watched that, went, okay, this one looks interesting, and started watching Parallel World Pharmacy. Because if you're gonna isekai, you're gonna isekai, I guess. And it's filling in that weird little, boy, this premise really shouldn't work, but it's really working. Like, Ya Boy Kongming had it with the reverse isekai into the 21st century bit. And now we have Parallel World Pharmacy, where a medical science prodigy who has spent his entire life trying to cure the disease that took his young sister when they were kids, literally works himself to death, wakes up in the body of the youngest son of a medieval noble family of pharmacologists, and finds out that the kid whose body he's woken up in was struck by lightning. So everyone's like, oh my God, are you okay? And he's like, oh my God, what is happening? It's a little wild. And he has been blessed by the god of medicine and healing of this medieval fantasy world. So basically, he has unlimited magic. He can diagnose people just by looking at them, and he is able to create base elements just by knowing their chemical composition, which it helps that he's a medical prodigy, isn't it? It's only been 2 episodes so far, but it's basically gone from 0 to 100 in terms of So the medicine in this world is like boil these 3 animal parts together under the light of the full moon and then put the resulting powder in water and drain. It's like weird snake oil stuff. They don't really get medicine. And it's only available to the rich upper class. So he's gone from 0 to, all right, I'm going to make real medicine and I'm going to make sure that everyone can have it. So it's an isekai power fantasy, but it's for socialized healthcare instead of world domination.
It's weird.
It hits cool. It hits really different as an American, honestly, watching someone enact this socialized healthcare fantasy because my dude was from Japan. So he's like, this is all wrong. We need to work with the standard that I was working in because obviously everyone should have access to healthcare and it should be good healthcare, not snake oil. And I'm sitting here watching this as an American going, you're right, everyone should have access to healthcare. Wow, maybe this is hitting differently because of the culture difference, but like, this is the isekai power fantasy that I am here for. My dude shows up and goes, what if I just help everyone? So it's on Crunchyroll. We're 2 episodes in. It's already stabbed me in the heart at least once because this new family that he's reincarnated into has a little sister like the one that he spent his life trying to cure the disease. It's like, oh, I have a little sister again. And in episode 2, she's leaning against him going, I love you, big brother. And he's sitting there having a whole ass moment. And I'm sitting on the futon having a whole ass moment. So it's going to be that kind of show so far. We're only 2 episodes in. It might do weird isekai shit. We don't know yet. But so far, I'm here for it. So far, I'm really enjoying this.
I don't know why this just reminded me, but like good summer anime, if you didn't do the Skate the Infinity phase last year, 100% do that this year.
Whereas
that
I'm sitting here going,
feel-good show. There is no real like danger, conflict. You know, it's not the end of the world, but there's still stakes. Everybody's gorgeous. The style is gorgeous. And it's just really fun. It's the I'm so glad you bitched. I'm like, I love that show so much. That was my, like, in the moment, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite show. Like, while watching, I'm like, this show is amazing. I love everything about it.
It's also a great depiction of, like, depression and grief, which is, like, but in, like, a really kind way. Like, yes. Really, like, it's dealing with, like, pretty heavy stuff, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm sobbing. It's just like, wow, that was like really nice. And like they worked through that in a really good and positive way that I think people can take some good lessons from.
Yes.
That was me watching My Roommate is a Cat. Like, oh, it's about a guy who adopts a cat and he doesn't really know how to handle cats and it's cute. And then it opens on his parents' funeral. And it's like, excuse me, what? And it's a show about a guy who adopts a cat and doesn't know how to cat and it's cute. But also he's dealing with this massive loss in his life and having this cat and the antics the cat gets into are helping him get through it. And then the second half of the episode is all from the cat's point of view.
Oh my
God. It's just like, oh my God. So I wasn't expecting to be emotionally blindsided while watching My Roommate is a Cat. But if you are prepared to be emotionally blindsided, My Roommate is a Cat is amazing.
Where is it?
I think it was on Funimation when I watched it, so it's probably on Crunchyroll at this point. If it's not, it'll still be on Funny. I might still be on Verve. It's very good. I don't know if there's a dub. We watched it subbed. It is very good. You will absolutely have emotions because they do not shy away from this human who does not know how to take care of himself, attempting to deal with grief, and also raise a cat. When the cat is like, what the hell are you doing? What is going on here? Like it's even better if you're a cat person, but it's also great if you're not a cat person because it's these 2 very different creatures from 2 very different worlds kind of learning to get along and figure things out and figuring things out with the world around them and the people around them. It's very good. Again, you got to be prepared to deal with some emotions, but it's very good.
I think that's something like a thing I will always love about anime is that even the like really lighthearted sweet stuff, the really sugary fun still is like, hey, here's some real topics and like we can balance both. You can talk about death and grief and hard times and also still have like fun and have funny stuff, and anime does a really great job with that. Like,
yeah. Anime is not a genre, anime is a medium, and it contains a multitude of genres. As I sit here and recommend the Weird Ass Isekai, the show about grief, and also Overlord Season 4 is airing, you guys, like right now. It's extremely violent.
We didn't even say that Skate is actually like literally about extreme skateboarding.
Yeah,
like, all of these are so different.
Yes.
It's a sports
I'm mostly
anime.
recommending Isekai tonight, aren't I? 4 recommendations and 3 of them have been Isekai. Oh my god, I'm that person.
Well, if that's what you're watching, that's what you're watching.
All right. Well, I'm watching, but they're all weird isekai.
Yeah.
Like, none of it is the bog standard power fantasy. It's medical isekai, or the rare double isekai, or the reverse isekai.
Yes.
I literally said that Madoka Magica was one of my favorite animes. I also love Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Like,
oh my god,
I like some weird stuff.
Fam, you gotta watch Overlord. You're a horror person, yeah?
Yes.
You gotta watch Overlord.
I also used to watch like Darker Than Black. I've seen a lot of like spookier animes.
You gotta watch Overlord.
So we can go with recommendations on for hours upon hours. So we've given some great suggestions.
I've talked about Overlord before. Don't go into it if you're not prepared for a lot of violence.
That's fine.
Like a lot of like not quite Game of Thrones violence in its weird angry flavor of violence, but like a lot of blood, a lot of death.
Oh, I was gonna say Game of Thrones isn't that violent to me. So if that's the comparison you're going for, that's fine.
Game of Thrones has in some ways it has a very specific, the intimate violence of Game of Thrones. Is not really something that Overlord does. It does the battlefield violence a lot, but it doesn't do a lot of the fucking yikes stuff.
Have you seen Trece on Netflix? Which is great, by the way. Is it any more violent than that? Like I guess that's not a good comparison. I was like Berserk.
Well, is it like Attack on Titan violent? Like lots of blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It's they introduce the amount of violence that you will be experiencing in this show in level 3, episode 3. So the first 2 episodes, I'm like, man, I love this premise. Man, I love these characters. And the 3rd episode was like, okay, but I'm already invested, so I'm here for it. And then it turned out that I absolutely love this show so much. Oh my god.
All right.
So yeah, watch Overlord. 4th season's airing now.
Lots of shows to check out, as we've just said. Huge thank you to our special guest for joining us today. Woo!
Thank you.
And the other
a good
special
pupper.
Guest, oh, yeah, baby.
His name is Chopper.
Oh,
not after the anime character. He's after a Star Wars character.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how high is his body count?
If I showed you his toys, hi.
For those going, what? Watch Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And then, follow here for more stuff. Is there anything else you would like to promote?
Right now, I'm over on Scabby Rooster playing Total Party Kills. Monday nights at 8 p.m. we go live. That's a fun one because we're basically the monsters in a dungeon, and we're more concerned about how the heroes are messing up our dungeons than the other monsters. So it's more like us just making friends with monsters in the dungeon. It's very cute. It's very fun. It can also get very serious. It's an anime. Let's be honest.
Love it.
So doing that, it's a lot of fun to watch. I also wrote a little comic called All in Your Head. You can go to my Twitter and see that if you would like to read it. It is a very personal story about something that happened to me last year. And this was my way of kind of working through it and also like hoping other people could read it and relate to it. So read it. If you like it, give it a like and a share. I'm very proud of it. And the art is by Ara Gotham, and they are an incredible artist who was super fun to work with. Otherwise, just follow me on Twitter and Instagram at my handle below, so I don't have to spell it because my name is hard. go there, see what I'm up to. I tend to post. I'm learning violin, and I plan to try and document my progress. Maybe every other week, once a week. We'll see how much progress I actually make in between then and that. So I'll be sharing that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm self-teaching myself. This is going to be really interesting.
Fine.
Sounds cool.
If you've got a library card, they have a Linda account that you can use, and I'm sure someone has done violin classes there if you want to do the thing. Support your local libraries, you guys. They have a ton of resources.
That. Don't do what I'm doing, which is YouTube. Support your local libraries.
Yeah.
YouTube is valid too.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you, Blythe. And yeah, go check all these things out. Katie, where can people find you? Anything you want to promote right now?
Here. Not used to it. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. For those of you who are following the YouTube channel, we're getting a little more content on there. And we have a recap and analysis of the first 3 episodes of Ruby Ice Queendom. We won't have the 4th episode out for a while because it hasn't dropped on Crunchyroll yet. It's going to be another 2 weeks. So it'll be a minute, but I'm also doing other content on the channel. We're having a good time. And for those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you've probably seen clips from this show on there. That's on purpose. Yes, follow all the stuff. It's super fun.
Yay, awesome. And y'all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. I just put it on TikTok, a shorter version and a slightly longer version over on YouTube of the top 5 things you should bring with you or your must-have items for your next convention. So go check those out. See if you agree with that list. Would you add anything, take anything away? Let me know. Leave comments on it. And then, I'll be at Comic-Con soon, so stay on the lookout for all that. And again, as we said earlier, next week's episode of this show, welcome to being here, will be a pre-taped interview, but check it out, who our special guest is. It maybe has to do with that show, maybe. Who might it be? So you're going to have to tune in and find out. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. And we will be seeing you in a bit at the next one. Yes. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye.